Welcome everybody to another episode of Found Purpose. I'm your host, Cortland Fields. Let's get into it.
Yeah, I think that's just how we just became really even closer then. Like we were like, in a way, it felt like we were all we had. And we all shared this like common loss together.
Right.
But we were committed to making that loss mean something. Like there's no way we were going to make him die in vain. And I think my son in his first year, how he handled it, he was in his work. Like he may have went to college thinking I'm gonna play around and fool around, but he was committed to like, now I'm gonna get this work and I'm gonna do the best that I could because my son, I guess you gotta tell me if this is a school, his first year, when he finished boot camp, he went to some place. I think he was only there for 30 days. It was in South Carolina. It could have been a little bit more. Yeah, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was Airman of the Month. And he said there was other people there that they were older than him. And one person really thought that he was going to get it. And he got it. And my son was really humble. And he said it to me very nonchalant. I wasn't even catching it, what he was saying. It was like, yeah. So, he had me come out there to South Carolina, go to his house. Yeah, I thought he was going to be Airman of the Month, but they chose me to be Airman of the Month. But I still wasn't connecting it. So when my son passed away and I had to go through his things, I have the medal, because you get a medal and a certificate. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, that's what he was saying. So my children saw that and my son saw that. And it was just so many people telling us about how he inspired them, that it's like we had no choice but to kind of live. We are his legacy. That's how I feel right now. He had a light, we're taking the light and passing the light on. A lot of the work that I do today in those schools is like, I'll go to schools and I see my son in each and every one.
That's an interesting, because when I met you, you was a fashion stylist. And you even helped me on a few of my gigs. Now, 10 years later, I come across you. Like I said, the day I saw you at the event, I almost cried.
I saw.
And all I wanted is like, can I give you a hug?
And I was like, yes.
And he was like, I think I know you from somewhere. I was like, the recruiter.
Like,
because I have a mustache beard. But I knew you knew me, but it was like, I needed to see you because for 10 years, I've been carrying that burden with me. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, why? You know what I mean? And I have lost about 3 applicants, but your son, each one of them hit me hard and it hit me different. You know what I mean? But your son was like one of the first, because your son is amongst a lot of other quality applicants that I had put into the military. And my whole thing to them is, in the military, I could be anything that I wanted to be. I was a mortician. I was a chef. But I chose to be an Air Force Reserve recruiter, and I chose to come back into the community because of the lifestyle I had and how I grew up. And I wanted to make sure that other people can get out or find a way out, have that stepping stone to get out. So when I saw you in that event, I was like, oh my gosh, God is blessing me right now. And I felt the presence. And when you told me you're not a fashion stylist and you went to, what are you now?
So let me give you another backstory. Let me tell you, because this is 10 years ago, I'm going to tell you another number. I've been an educator for 26 years.
Wow.
My children know me as a scientist. So that's a little threaded.
Now I'm getting a little scientist vibe coming from you. Okay. Yes.
Right. So my bachelor's is in biology.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, I graduated. What you gonna do? I don't know what I'm gonna do. Oh, you make a great teacher. You think I will? Oh, yeah. I want you to apply for this school, which was a gifted and talented school in Bed-Stuy, District 13, Junior High School 113. I applied for that. And then another principal saw me, Junior High School 258. Principal Noreen Hosier, she's like, I want you to come here. And I was like, 258 is not the best school in District 13, but I'm going to take the challenge.
Right.
Love the challenge. Took the challenge, came in as a science teacher, like, but we got a math shortage, and I know you could do the math. You got enough math. You think you could be a math teacher, but better yet, you think you can integrate math and science? Oh, okay, I can do that too. I'll do it. They weren't even talking about STEM back then. Took the challenge. I got it. I'll do it. That's what my children know about me. That's what Allah saw me do.
And I see a lot of Allah in you. I see a lot. Now that I'm talking to you, I see where Allah got all his qualities from, all his strength from, his determination, the push, the help. I see it in you. You raised an amazing son.
Thank you.
You really, and he touched a lot of people's lives. He helped a lot of people's lives, even with in-depth call. I get a call from people from Texas, San Antonio, Texas, when they tell me about applicants that are doing good and doing great. I never got a call. I got one call that one of my applicants was doing bad, and he didn't know I was in San Antonio, Texas for training, and I popped up on him. Don't have that problem. But we get calls and we get kudos from applicants, airmen, who go to San Antonio and they do great things. And that helps us as a recruiter, because it's like, oh, who is your recruiter? Oh, Fields was your recruiter. Okay, so it's like a ripple effect. So when you put out good things and you put out good energy and you put in quality people, that helps you open up doors. So your son was one of the people that helped open up doors for me to allow me to put other people where they need to be, because he was of quality, because he was a stand-up airman, because he never left an airman behind.
Yeah, he had his wingman. I was confused, like, which one is your wingman?
Everyone he knows.
There was all his wingmen. I was like, is that your wingman? Right.
Everyone.
All of them. So the interesting is, so I was always in education. When you met me, I was Dr. Smart then. Interesting.
But you never would put that out there.
It wasn't the time and place. When I was there, I was the stylist. Not necessarily, like, I don't really live off of titles, right?
Right.
About
energy, good vibes.
Yeah. It is what it is. I did that. Yeah. But when we talk about, and there's something about that, when he passed away, maybe it was 2 months after, which was still raw for me, right?
Of course.
I found my program from the day I graduated with my doctorate from Columbia University.
Nice.
And I was looking through it, and I opened the back, and he wrote something in there.
Who's he?
Allah. He said, Dr. Smart, I see you. And that was like, take your time, figure it out. You got to ace this.
The moment you saw that, because I like living in the moment. The moment you saw that, like, your son has passed away, and you open up, and now all of a sudden you're going through all your documents, and he's been telling you you're better than this, you're worth more. And now you're going through your documents. Everything is trying to figure it out, trying to put your life back together. You open up this document and you see, I see you.
Dr. Smart, I see you.
What did that feel like?
I knew, because it was still so raw. Like, people don't know. When I was in that house by myself, Cortland, I was on the floor bawling, like crying. But for me, that was healing. Like, I had to get it out, right? Because my people came to the funeral like, oh, you did so well. I was like, out of here. Oh, you did it. And people was asking me, can you come to my father's funeral and do the eulogy because you had so much grace then? I'm like, I don't like that. I'm traumatized. No more funerals.
Wait, you're burying your son. It's are you for hire?
She's like, oh, could you do the eulogy for my father's funeral, which he knew me from I was young, right? Lived on the block in East New York. And she was like, you just had so much grace. And I'm like, thank you. But I wasn't seeing myself as graceful. In my head is, I want to make sure I bury my son in peace. So all the crazy that people want to bring, I'm not even absorbing that right now.
It's amazing how when being that I was a mortician, we had to see the parents or stuff like that that came to view the body and everything. It's amazing how parents hold it together. Well, they look like they're holding it together. They look like they're holding it together. People don't really understand is that that's the easy part because you're doing it. You have something to do. You have something that's occupying your mind, your time. But the hardest part after losing someone you really love is after the funeral.
Yep. Because
Mm-hmm.
when they laid him at Calverton,
Mm-hmm.
myself, I was able to breathe.
You took a breath.
I was able to breathe after that and be like, okay, I laid my son to rest. Mm-hmm. And I did it in a space without the craziness. Because, people do the drama, and I did not entertain the drama. So when they saw the grace was me just being like focused, right? And I was doing this for my son. Mm-hmm. After that, I was on the floor in the house. And when I saw that, it's weird because it put a smile on my face, but it brought the tears too, right? It put the smile on my face like, wow, he was watching you, but he's, it's kind of like a message telling you, I'm watching you still, right? But then it was like, I miss him so much. And I was missing him a lot. I miss him a lot. I still miss him every day.
Of course.
But I'm in a space where I think I'm still celebrating like the good qualities of him.
May I ask you a question? I kind of already know the answer, but just for people who have recently probably lost someone or someone who knows someone that lost someone and don't understand it, the emotions, do you ever get over it? Do it ever get easy?
It's never easy. It's not an easy thing, right? Like you say, it's a journey. I think the grieving is going to always be there, right? Mm-hmm. But I think we make choices on how we choose to grieve, right?
Right.
Like I'm telling you, I have a picture. My son is sitting right there with us as we talk. Remember his picture, they give you the graduate and the certificate and his flag is right there. Yeah. So here's the case.
Right.
My son my son processed his best friend's loss in a different way. They did the gun salute.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Some casings. He picked up some of the casings. Some of the casings are in this case right now. Here's his picture.
Yep.
Yeah. And the certificate, that's my best friend. And he sits right there and I look at him and I'm like, I see him and I'm like, that's my best friend. Like, it's weird, but like I say, people process things differently. And I will always say that's my everything. And sometimes I'm driving and it will be, you just don't know when it's going to hit you, right?
Right.
Like, oh my God. And I have to take the moment because I know it's going to be a tear. And then it could be a memory and it could be like, I could hear him laughing and that brings me joy. But you just have to be able to just be in the moment, which is what he always told me. You have to know how to just be in the moment and appreciate the moments. And for me, it was just understanding how can I use his life as an inspiration. So I have a not-for-profit organization called Inspire You.
Nice. Yes.
Yeah, because I went and got a life coach because I was like, there's no way I lost my everything. And I'm not going to make this be a pivotal change in my life.
Right.
Right. No way that people are telling me my son did all of these things and I don't make it become something to propel me to be even greater.
Right.
And so I did get a life coach after that too. And we worked through some things and the person was like, what word came to you? And I think we connected. He knew that I just lost my son. And I connected that, and he was like, what is it about him? And I was like, inspire. And then he's like, go out and get a figure that shows you inspiration. I got a little, and it's still in my room, a gold Statue of Liberty is a symbol of inspiration to me. And me right now, the not-for-profit is really about, it's about young people, his age, at that time in high school, really letting them know that they have options and that they can make choices, and really having conversations with them about what's their post-secondary option going to be. Is it going to be college? Is it going to be the military? Are you going to start your own business? That's what Inspire You does. And that is because he inspired me to do that.
Is wonderful. So we're almost out of time again. So what is it that if someone who has lost a loved one or lost a child or is going through that situation right now, what is some words of inspiration that you can leave them with?
So I learned what love meant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because when I lost him, that moment, when I said I was looking at him and like, this is how the story is going to end, at that moment, it was, this is how much I love you. I learned what love is when I lost him.
That is so deep.
Yeah.
That is deep.
Yep.
We got to talk more about that. I learned what love meant.
Yep. I learned it that day.
Well, Dr. Smart, it was a pleasure and an honor for you to do this with me. I will also, when I break this down and do the video, I'll also send it to you. So this way you could have it and you can put it on your non-for-profit, because this also is a non-for-profit found purpose to show how you can find strength after the struggle. And you embody that strength after the struggle. You found purpose, you found for purpose for your son and how to live and go beyond. And I want to thank you. And you're truly my inspiration. So thank you for doing this for me. I appreciate it.
I want to tell you thank you, because I knew there was going to be a point that I would have to tell the story. And when you came and said the podcast, you did the confirmation for me. So thank you.
See, your son working in many ways. I needed something. I needed closure, healing, and you needed to tell the story. So thank you. God bless, and hope to see you soon. And will do. Don't be a stranger.
All righty. You same.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
This has been another episode of Found Purpose. Remember, your spirit is never too broken, shattered, or damaged where it can't be fixed. Put God first and everything is fixable. Let's start healing in the spirit.